Okay, let's start electrostatics. Okay, students, then we are now we are starting the new chapter electrostatics. So welcome all of you in this new chapter of first chapter of 12th class, and it is very important for your NEET exam. It is actually very important because this exam carries very good questions in your exam, and it is very easy to understand, and it is very interesting actually. So we are going to start electrostatics, but before starting I should inform you that we have divided this chapter into two parts. The first part carries electrostatic force, electrostatic field and conductors, and the second part carries electrostatic potential, and the second thing is capacitor. Okay, so we are going to start electrostatics. So this is electrostatic, and we are going to start the first part of the electrostatic, which is force and the electric field and conductors. So before starting this chapter, the first thing we should learn or we should understand is what is charge actually. Charge is just like a property. Charge is just like a property, just like mass. What is mass? So mass gives us idea about the inertia of the body. Just like charge gives the idea about the electrostatic nature or electric nature of the particular part or particular body or particular object. Getting my point? So there are three properties of charge by which we will understand the charge. The main three properties is additivity. The second one is quantization, and the third one is conservation. Getting my point? These are the three important properties by which we will understand the charge. The additivity. Before starting the three properties, I should inform you that charge are of two type. We understand charge in two type. We find that there are two type of charges. The first one is positive charge, and the second one is negative charge. It doesn't mean that a positive charge means there is a sphere which is having a plus sign on it. No, this is not a charge. We draw this type of charge only to make you understand only, but this is not the reality. In reality, it may be anything like just like a point, just like a bacteria. Getting my point? It is, I don't know what type of shape it takes or what type of shape or size it have, but actually it is a property, and the minimum least charge is E, which is quantization of charge. We cannot divide the charge less than E, and the charge on 1 E is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and coulomb is the SI unit of charge. SI unit. Getting my point? So, sir, quantization we understood, but remember one thing, you have noticed that if we divide a particular part, just like not dividing, we are saying that there is a room which is filled of grain, so small wheat grains, then all the grains are quantized because they complete grains. The room is filled with complete grains, not the half part of the grain or rice. We can say the room is filled with a rice, complete rice. Then each part of rice is the minimum shortest or the smallest part of that complete rice. Sorry, getting my point? There are many small parts of rice, and all that together become the big amount of rice. Getting my point? Similarly, charges like same as E is the minimum or shortest or least possible charge. Getting my point? We cannot write charge equals to 1.5 E. It is not possible. We cannot divide E further. Yes, we can write this thing. The charge is 2E. Yeah, it is correct. 3E, it is correct. 1.5 E, it is not correct. 2.5 E, it is not correct. E by 3, it is not correct. However, we have already find this, but we will not study in our syllabus. This is not the part in our syllabus. Some scientists did this research that we can further divide the charge, but we will not study this part. We will study only this part, that charge is cannot be divided further by E. So any charge we will write will be a integral multiple of E. This is the quantization of charge. This is the property quantization of charge. Getting my point? Similarly, if we talk about the additivity of charge, what is additivity? So we were saying that, not we, I was saying that this positive charge and this negative charge, there are two types of charges. One is positive, one is negative. We have named them as positive or negative. Even we might say that one is A and one is B. One is C and one is D. We could say anything, but we named them positive and negative. Because we observe some properties, they always attract each other, and many different properties. They are opposite to each other. That is why we used one positive and one negative. But actually there are two types of charges. It may be named as something like Ram Sam or something like anything. Anything. We can name it as anything. Like one is Robert and one is some Rocky. But actually we named them positive and negative. Getting my point? We named them positive and negative. But what happened in the additivity of charge property is saying that if we place a body, if we place a not body, if we define an area which is having 1 coulomb positive charge, not 1 coulomb, 1 plus E and 1 minus E, then the complete net charge on this body is 0. They add like scalars. This property is saying this thing. Getting my point? This property is saying this thing. Just like suppose in a room there are four students, 2 girls and 2 boys. And boys is one of the kind of person found by the nature, and girls are one of the kind of person found by the nature. There are two kind of the people. Getting my point? But we cannot say that additivity is also defined there. Just like if one boy is in room and one girl is in room, then we cannot say that total number of persons in the room is 0. We cannot say this. The total number of persons in the room is 2. But in case of charge, if there is plus 1 charge and minus 1 charge, then the total number of the charge in the room is 0. This is the property of additivity saying. Getting my point? But some students say, sir, obviously, sir, this is plus and this is minus, sir. So dear student, this plus and this minus, we named them plus and minus. There is no symbol of plus written on the head of the charge. They are a kind of a type of charge. Plus charge is a kind of a type of charge. Minus charge is a kind of a type of charge. Getting my point? Are you getting my point? So this is the property of additivity of charge. They add like a scalar. Getting my point? Now, conservation of charges, we cannot create or we cannot destroy the charge. We can only create if we are creating plus 1 charge, then there will be a minus 1 charge also created. Okay. So these are the properties of charge we have studied. These properties are very, very important. So now let's start the Coulomb's force. What Coulomb force is saying that the force between two charges, if there are two charges Q1 and Q2, first thing is to remember is that this force is only valid for point charges. I am writing this force. This force is only valid for point charges. This is the Coulomb's law. The force between two charges is K Q1 Q2 by R square. where r is the distance between the two charges and both the charges are point charges. Q1, Q2 are the value of the charges and k is the value which is equals to 10 to the power 9 multiplied by Q1, Q2 by r square. This is the force, and k is also, we can write k is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Getting my point? Where epsilon naught is the permittivity of the free space and its value is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12 in SI units. Getting my point? So this is the property of Coulomb's law, and remember 2 to 3 properties. First of all, this is valid only, and please note it down. First of all, it is valid only and only for point charges. Second one, force will always act along that line joining two charges. Force will be attractive in nature if the charges are opposite in sign. Force will be repulsive in nature if both the charges are of same sign. Getting my point? Of same type charges. If plus and minus, then they will attract each other. If minus and minus, they will repel each other. Plus and plus repel each other. Getting my point? Similarly, one more thing, always act along the line joining two charges, opposite repel each other, opposite attract each other, similar repel each other, and valid only for point charges. Getting my point? And one more thing, the force between two charges, or we can say the force on one charge due to second charge is independent of the presence or absence of the third charge. The force on 1 due to 2 is independent of Q3. Getting my point? Force on 1 due to Q2 will not be affected by Q3. It is very important property, superposition of charges. Getting my point? Or superposition principle, sorry. We can also say that the force on Q3 will be the vector sum of force by Q2 and force by Q1. Getting my point? Superposition principle says that force on Q3 due to Q1 and Q2 are the vector sums of both individual forces. Getting my point? Due to Q2 force will be in this direction, due to Q1 force will be in this direction. So when we add both of the forces by vectorially, then this will be the net force on Q3. Getting my point? So again I am repeating, only valid for point charges. Force will act along the line joining two charges, opposite repel, opposite attract, or similar charge repel each other, similar charge repel each other, and force on one charge due to second charge is always and always independent of the presence and the absence of third charge. Getting my point? And force on third charge is the vector sum of second charge and vector sum of the force of second charge and vector sum of the force by first charge. Getting my point? So these are the properties. We should learn these properties, and now we will start the next topic. Okay. If we are considering this as F and this is also as F, then this is F, and this is the third charge. So the net force will be equals to F square plus 2F into cos 60. So here F square plus 2F square plus cos multiplied by cos 60. The cos 60 is 1 by 2, so it becomes 3F square to the whole under root. The answer will be equals to root 3F. Getting my point? So this is the force on charge 3 due to 1 and 2. Getting my point? So this you can note it down, the question we have discussed on the Coulomb's law. Okay. Now let's study electric field, or we can say electrostatic field. We will discuss some more problems on electrostatic force while discussing the sheet discussion. While doing the sheet discussion, now it's time to start the electric field theory. So what do you mean by electric field, sir? Electric field is basically the area or the volume where the where we can say that the area. So what is electric field? Electric field is basically the force per unit charge, test charge at some point. Getting my point? If we are, if it is given that there is a charge q and at a distance small r, there is small test charge q naught. Then the force on this test charge q naught will be equals to k q small q naught by r square. Getting my point? So then electric field will be equals to the force divided by test charge q naught, and it becomes kq by r square. So this is all about electric field. We can say that not all about, but something, only some important factor about electric field. Now we can check that for a positive charge, electric field will goes outward. We are representing electric field in lines here. Getting my point? Or these lines are also known as electric field lines. There are some properties of these lines we will discuss later, but I am just showing that for negative charge, electric field will come to the charge in this manner. Getting my point? So this is the diagram for plus charge and minus charge. For positive charge, electric field will goes outward. For negative charge, electric field will come towards the negative charge. Getting my point? Or we can say that there are some important points about the electric field lines such that they never intersect each other, because at any point, suppose this is a positive charge and this is a negative charge, then electric field will goes from this charge to this charge like this. Electric field basically representation of electric field lines are the basically representation of electric field in terms of lines. Getting my point? And this is an amazing imagination by the Michael Faraday. So we can say that at any point, if we draw a tangent on the electric field line, we can get the value of direction of net electric field at that point. So here direction will be in this direction. Here electric field direction will be in this direction. Getting my point? So two electric field lines cannot cross each other. Why, sir? Because if they will cross each other or if they will intersect each other, it means there will be two directions possible for two directions at a point of electric field, and it is not possible that for a particular electric field there are two directions at a point. It is not practically possible. So they never intersect each other. One more thing, from less charge, less number of electric field will come out, and from more charge, more number of electric field will come out. Getting my point? Getting my point? The space where the density is more, electric field line density is more, electric field intensity is more. The space where density is less, electric field lines density is less, electric field is also less. Getting my point? So these are the properties of electric field lines. This is also known as electric field lines of forces, because at any point on the field line, tangent gives the direction of electric field, and if you place a charge on that point, then that force will act along the tangent. Getting my point? So this is also known as electric field lines of forces. So this is we have studied. So please note it down, then we will start next thing. Okay. So we should study 2 to 3 more important points. That SI unit of electric field is, what is SI unit? SI unit is Newton per Coulomb. Getting my point? We can say this is Newton per Coulomb. And one more thing, electric field is a vector quantity. It is also very important. Electric field is a vector quantity. Suppose we have two charges, one is Q and another is also Q. Then electric field at the center will be 0. Why, sir? Because electric field due to this charge will be in this direction and due to this charge will be in this direction, and both will be equal, then electric field becomes 0. Similarly, there is a Q charge and minus Q charge at the center, electric field will not be 0 and electric field due to this point charge will be in this direction, and electric field due to this charge will be in this direction. So we can say that electric field, the net electric field will be in this direction. So electric field is a vector quantity. We should learn this. Again, this is Q, minus Q and minus Q. So electric field due to this plus Q will be in this direction, and due to this minus Q again in this direction. Electric field due to this charge will be in this direction, and again this minus charge will be in this direction. The net electric field will be in a downward direction. This is the net electric field. So these are the types of questions we may have seen in exams or a practice test, or these are very important concepts. So we should remember all the important concepts. Getting my point? So please note it down. Then we will start next thing fast. Okay, students. So I already draw this diagram just to make you understand the concept easily. This is what? This is a conductor, and inside a conductor electric field is 0. This is a property of a conductor, that inside a conductor electric field is 0. Getting my point? And what is this? This is again a conductor. We have studied in a conductor electric field is 0, and the charge, all the charge given to a conductor will reside on the outer surface of the conductor. So this charge will reside on the outer surface. Now this surface charge density sigma should proportional to 1 by r. Sigma is the surface charge density. This should be proportional to 1 by r, where r is the radius of curvature. So the point space where radius of curvature is more, surface charge density will be less. Getting my point? Similarly, where the radius of curvature is very, very less, surface charge density is very, very dense. You can see here the charge density is very, very high here, but charge density is very, very low here. Getting my point? Similarly, in this part you can see that this is a conductor, and this is a part of conductor. This is a cavity inside the conductor. If we place a charge Q inside a conductor, in the cavity of the conductor, then a negative charge having value equals to minus Q will induce on the inside part of or the inner part of the surface. Getting my point? Similarly, plus Q charge, if this is minus Q charge, then plus Q charge will induce on the outer surface of the conductor. So electric field lines will go like this, and electric field lines are coming out from this small Q charge like this. Getting my point? One more important thing is, if electric field inside the conductor is 0, then all the inside part of the conductor is equipotential. Getting my point? So at equipotential surface, electric field always emits or emit out from the equipotential surface perpendicularly. So whenever you enter any electric field inside a conductor, it will inside with perpendicularly. It will inside only at a 90-degree angle. Getting my point? So these are the important properties of conductor. You should learn these properties. So fast wrote it down. Then we will start next. So we should learn all these properties. These are very important properties in conductors, and the electric field intensity, force on a charge. These are the important things. Getting my point? So these are the very, very important things in the conductors and electrostatics. Let's do some problems. Just like there is a conductor, and there is a charge placed at this point. Getting my point? There is charge placed at this point. So if there is charge placed at this point, so what we have to do is, because of this charge there will be an electric field at the center. But because of the induced charge, the net electric field at the center will be equals to 0. This is also very important. Getting my point? Getting my point? So this is the concept, and one more concept I want to discuss with you is that let's have an idea about dipole. We will discuss in this topic in next chapter as well, but I am just talking about the simple concept of dipole. This is plus q and this is minus q. The electric field at the axial point will be equals to 2 kp by r cube, and electric field at the perpendicular bisector will be equals to kp by r cube. You should remember both the things. This is electric field in this direction, this is the electric field in this direction. Getting my point? It will be very useful for you. And one more last thing, students, I should discuss with you is flux and Gauss law. What is flux? If a charge is placed at some point, then in all the direction around the charge, the flux is coming out is equals to q by epsilon naught. Getting my point? Flux is what? Flux is basically the count of number of field lines coming out from the surface. This is the flux. Getting my point? We can write flux is like this, E dot ds. What is ds? ds is the surface area and E is the electric field. This is also known as flux, and flux is the number of field lines coming out from the surface. So for a point charge, the flux will coming out will be q by epsilon naught. If you place a point charge and minus point charge in the surface, then the total flux coming out from the surface will be 0, because from q the flux is coming out is q by epsilon naught, and for minus q it is minus q by epsilon naught. The net flux will be 0. Flux is a scalar quantity. Getting my point? So from this flux we discussed Gauss law as well. And what is Gauss law? It is also very simple. The E dot ds is equals to q inside by epsilon naught. It is a very important thing in the electrostatic. E dot ds equals to q inside by epsilon naught. What is E, sir? E is the electric field due to all the charges, either they are in the inside the Gaussian surface or outside the Gaussian surface. ds is the surface area and q inside is the inside charge in the Gaussian surface. Getting my point? So these are the important concepts we have discussed here. Okay, students. Now I am discussing some more important concepts in electrostatics. Getting my point? So the first one is, if we have an infinite wire having charge density plus and the charge density is lambda. Lambda is linear charge density. We have three types of charge densities in electrostatics. The first one is lambda, which is linear charge density. Second one is sigma, which is surface charge density, surface area charge density. I am using D for density. Getting my? And rho, which is volumetric charge density. Getting my point? For CD, it denotes that charge density. Getting my point? So we can write that lambda is linear charge density, sigma is surface charge density, and rho is the volumetric charge density. For a linear object, for a finite wire length, the charge density should be lambda, should be in lambda only, linear charge density only. Getting my point? So if we have to find electric field at a point near finite wire, then we have to we should know the angle between this and this. This is the angle theta 1. This theta 1 is the angle between line joining this point charge and the upper point of the wire. Getting my point? Extreme point of the wire and with horizontal. Similarly, theta 2 is in the downward direction and it is the angle between line joining this point and the last point and horizontal. Getting my point? So this is theta 1 and theta 2. This is very important in electrostatics. So listen to me very carefully. There are two types of electric fields here. Not two types, two components of electric field. One is perpendicular and one is parallel. Getting my point? One is perpendicular, one is parallel. So perpendicular component will be equals to k lambda by d sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2. You should learn these formulas. These are very important formulas. Getting my point? Similarly, for parallel, what you will write is k lambda by d cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. Getting my point? So you don't have to bother about it. You just think that, sir, which angle is theta 1, which angle is theta 2. Do not panic. Just listen to me very carefully that this theta 2 angle and this theta 1 angle, you can put any angle theta 2 and theta 1. Sir, why? How? There is a sign negative. Then answer may change. Yeah, answer may change. But you have to think about it logically. Sir, how? If this upper part is greater than this lower part, or we can say this upper part is larger than this lower part, upper part is larger in size than lower part, then it means the net electric field in parallel direction will be downward if the charge is positive. Getting my point? If both the parts are same in size, then there will be no parallel part, because both angles will be zero, both angles will be same, and this complete will be zero. Getting my point? Similarly, if the lower part is larger, then electric field will be in upper direction. If the charge is positive, I am talking about the charge is positive only. Getting my point? So now again we will discuss. Let's suppose we have an infinite wire. So infinite wire means it is a wire having no ends. So at this point we can say that if this distance is d, then the upper angle theta 1 will be equals to, we will increase the angle increasing and goes to 90 degree approximate. Similarly, theta 2 is also 90 degree approximate. So you can see there is no parallel part, only remaining part is perpendicular, and its value is, if you put sin theta 1 and theta 2 both 90, then it becomes 2. So answer will be 2k lambda by d. Getting my point? This is the concept of infinite wire. We can use this same concept for semi-infinite wire as well. So please note it down, then we will start next thing. Let's do some more problems on these types of concepts. Like we have a ring and the charge density on the ring, total charge on the ring is Q. Let's suppose total charge on the ring is Q. This ring is in this plane. Getting my point? This plane in my hand. Getting my point? So suppose this is the ring and we have to find electric field at this point on its axial point. Getting my point? So on its axis we have to find the electric field. At this point electric field will be in this direction only, and the value of this electric field will be equals to kqx by r square plus x square to the power 3 by 2. Getting my point? So this is the electric field due to this ring at this point, and we can connect the ring like this. But the complete electric field, net electric field actually will be in this direction only. Getting my point? Let's suppose if we are talking about the ring and we are talking about the center of the ring. At center, so what will be the electric field at center? At center, x is equals to 0, because this point will shift to this point and x becomes 0. So what is x? X is this distance. R is this distance. Here x is not variable, here x is constant. It doesn't mean that if you see x anywhere and you will see only that it is a variable quantity. No, sometimes x becomes constant. Here x is only constant term, which is distance between this center and the point at which we have to find the electric field. Getting my point? So this is x equals to 0, and we can, at x equals to 0 we can see that electric field will be 0. So at center of the ring electric field is 0. Getting my point? Similarly, if we do like this, and this is a arc, and now we have to find electric field at this point. Then first of all electric field will be in this direction only. And what will the value of this electric field? I will tell you. Suppose again we are taking an arc. This arc is of semicircle, but this arc, it may be any angle. We can say this angle is alpha. This is lambda. Getting my point? So we can consider this is alpha, this is lambda, radius is r, and the electric field due to this will be, is it visible to you? Okay. The electric field will be, just check, is it visible or not? Okay, it is visible, I think. So electric field will be equals to 2k lambda by r sine alpha by 2. You have to put just alpha, angle alpha by 2. So here the electric field will be equals to 2k lambda by r sine, what is alpha here? Alpha is the angle between these two lines and this is the 180 degree here. So we will put 180 by 2, which is 90, and sine 90 is 1. So answer will be 2k lambda by r. Getting my point? So student, these are the important properties or important electric fields we have to find, we have to solve in many questions, or we have to use in many questions. So please note all the equations and all the things, and then we will start some more things in this. So we can find, we can also find the electric field due to infinite sheet, which is charge infinite sheet. If this is an infinite sheet having surface charge density sigma, then electric field at this point will be equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So electric field due to a sheet will be independent of R. So this quantity is independent of R, and we are talking about infinite charge sheet. Infinite, I am writing here infinite sheet, but this is infinite charge sheet. Getting my point? So these are the very important concepts we should use. We should learn all the important things in the electrostatics. So this is due to sigma equals to sigma, E equals to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Getting my point? This, we will use this concept in capacitor as well. Okay. So let's think about one more question. Just like if you are given that there is a semicircular arc and the charge at half of the portion is positive lambda and at half of the portion is negative lambda. Getting my point? Then we have to find the electric field at this point. As you know, these are the two parts. One part is this and one part is this. And due to this one part, the electric field will be in this direction, and it will be 2k lambda by r. Angle is 90. The half portion angle is 90. So we will write sine 90 by 2. We are using this formula here. Getting my point? Similarly, for this particular part, electric field will be in this direction. No, electric field will be in this direction because this is negative charge. Whenever you see a negative charge, you just put the sign of electric field opposite to the electric field sign when you used to in positive sign, in case of positive charge. So here will be also, the value will be same 2k lambda by r and sine 90 by 2. Now you have to solve, this is angle 90. Then you just have to put the values, these two values, and solve. The net electric field will be equals to square of these two values. The square will become, what is the value of this? This value will become a root 2 k lambda by r, and here also the value will be root 2 k lambda by r. When you square both of them and add, then what you will get is k lambda by r root 2 k lambda by r whole square plus root 2 k lambda by r whole square to the under root, and what it finally comes out that 2 k lambda by r, 2 k lambda, 4 k lambda by, so answer will be equals to root of 4 is 2 k lambda by r. This is what? This is net electric field. So this is the important questions. These are all the important questions on electrostatics. So students, learn each and everything, and we will do now sheet discussion. So please note it down. Thank you so much. Happy learning.